Hello friends, it's Andrea, and before I get into my October setup, I gotta show off my it-themed nails. These took me a while to create and I'm super proud of them. I haven't done super detailed painted nails in a while. My favorite ones are where Pennywise is in the sewer and I used holographic sparkles for his eyes. Then there's the creepy lady from the painting, and then there's my favorite, Pennywise, and I used the same holographic glitters for his eyes. I thought they looked so cool. I'm using my two kinds of watercolor palettes, 3 sizes of paintbrushes, my porcelain plate, and this tiny stencil for the balloons later. As always, I will list all of these in the description box below. I tried to keep a swatch paper so I could get the right shades of all the colors. I wanted to showcase the scenes in the movie as in the progression of how they happened. I don't really think I succeeded in this. I think halfway through I kind of just did scenes that were in the movie. But I did start with Georgie taking the paper boat outside. My font is a bloody dripping font. This turned out way better than I could have imagined. Then I went over some of the other colors to give it some more definition and shadows. I didn't want to be too particular, but just enough for the shadowy areas. After letting everything dry, I began outlining. I am so horrible at drawing hands. That's probably why there aren't much of the hands showing. For the calendar, I began by outlining all the days. I believe they are 6 squares by 6 squares. I wanted these squares to be like post-it notes stuck on the missing wall. I painted the month at the top in the same bloody dripping font. This was actually a lot of fun to do. The scene at the bottom is Georgie chasing his boat along the road. Then I went back and forth between the missing poster and the bottom of the page. It was enough time to let each section dry a little bit before going back to it. I added more colors for the shadows, and once again with those hands. Maybe I need to practice them more. I painted the tape on the picture corners with a very light gray. Then I added a few random shadows to the squares that were more lifted than others, if that makes sense. I was so nervous about messing up Georgie's hands, but I think it went okay. I wrote the days of the week at the top and painted a red spot where all the numbers will go. The bottom of the second page is where Pennywise is hiding in the sewer. This also finishes the scene with Georgie. Then I added the numbers and this page is finished. This next page is the Polaroid Memories page. I painted the close-up version of Pennywise in the sewer. I tried really hard to make him look creepy. I think I did alright, but I think my nail still looks creepier. Then I painted the letters to kind of float along the water. All that was left was to outline. For the brain dump page, I painted the same bloody dripping letters. The painting will be at the top and the creepy lady that was in the painting is at the bottom. I found this hard to get all the shading right on this one. Sometimes I wonder if it would have turned out better if I just left well enough alone on some layers. But all in all, it does complete the look of the page. I masked the border of the painting with a bit of washi tape so I didn't have to be too careful with the colors. I kept the colors darker. I always love the reveal. After outlining the face, I wonder if I should have just left this one alone. The teeth seem to have disappeared. For the mood tracker page, I thought it would be fitting to have the scene with Pennywise holding all the balloons. I colored in the 5 balloons at the top that will hold the title. Then I started painting Pennywise. This one has a lot of grays, so I was trying to shade it where I thought it needed it. After adding the grass, I drew my mood legend as one of the balloons. Now it's time to outline everything. Once again with the hands. I did not want to mess them up. I think the pencil drawing looked better before I outlined it. Then I used my balloon stencil to draw all the balloons. At least I got to keep them consistently the same size. I wrote mood tracker in those 5 colored balloons at the top. Ha! Now he has a head. For my habit tracker, I painted the creepy haunted house that the kids go to. I just started with a light brown for the majority of the house. Then as things started to dry, I went over it a few times to show the shingles on the roof and the wood walls. I wasn't trying to be very specific with this one either, just enough details to show that it's the creepy house from the movie. Lastly, I added a few flowers, the grass, and some of the moss growing on the house. I filled in all the numbers on the individual trackers and then started to outline the details of the house. I gave each habit a red stripe and wrote in my habits, but my camera stopped filming that part. Finally, my weekly. I started by writing the dates at the top, still in that same font. Then I painted all the rest of the red things. I do find this particular watercolor dries a little bit grainy, kind of gritty to the touch. I think it's only the watercolors in that smaller white kit. The individual color tubes I got that are in the larger case I find aren't grainy at all. Guess this is something that we learn all on our own. There's a reason the better colors cost a little bit more money. The grainy colors are very vibrant though. I do love the saturation of them. So I guess for now it will be fine until I can upgrade a few more colors. I made the water tracker to be the sewage pipes. Each length of pipe is 8 squares long in total. I do love how this page turned out. I hope you've enjoyed this month's Creepy It theme. I had a lot of fun designing and painting this month's setup. If you try any of the spreads I have created, please tag me on Instagram at Amazing-Andrea1. That's with underscores. I would love to see your recreations. If you don't want to miss next month's setup, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.